Hello, Dave again from Creative Guitar Lounge. Today's video is all about rhythm ideas really for songs, whether they be your own songs or in this case coming up with parts to do a cover. And the cover I'm looking at is one that my partner and I are currently kind of working on, which is When Doves Cry by Prince. And it's quite nice. It's a nice chord progression. It reminds us a little bit of one of our favourite songs, which is Echo Beach by Martha and the Muffins. Kind of 80s tune. But ours is, whenever we're doing covers, which we don't really do very often, we try to make them as kind of different from the original while still staying true to it as possible, if you know what I mean. So the melody lines for the vocals are kind of unchanged. The tempo is more or less the same as Prince's original version. But aside from that, there's lots more guitars obviously, and some different strings and so on, and not drum machiney sounding programmed drums, which was, I guess that song in there was in the sort of 80s or 90s maybe, but it was very kind of MIDI inspired, very sort of keyboards and drum machines and drum loops and all that stuff. Great, but we just like the chord sequence, which is A minor, G, E minor, F, and then A minor, G, E minor, F, G, and it just, the whole song just goes around like that. We've chosen an arrangement, using the same chords, but it's possibly slightly different arrangement to Prince's, because to be honest, we don't actually listen overly much to the songs that we're covering, because we want to make as different a version as we can. So in terms of the guitar, so far I've come up with 3 different guitar parts, and because in this case there are just those chords that basically just loop around and around and around for the whole song, so that's the same for the verse and the same for the chorus. Essentially, the only way that you can really make differences between verses and choruses and bridges and middle eights and all that is through dynamics. So what I've kind of done is, my first point of call, as quite often is for me, is to play octaves, because we're going to have strings and keyboards and obviously the vocal tracks. So I want to keep the guitar as much into guitar land as I can without interfering with everything else, so that it can be heard clearly, all the parts, but it's not interfering and muddying up everything else, hopefully. So with octaves, that's kind of the octave part that I've decided on. I'm basically just going along with the chords, so it's A, E, F, and then the second time around, E, A, G. So that's going to be, that's one of the parts, and the way we record nowadays, I think most people probably do it with stuff you can do with Logic Pro and all that, is to just basically record those parts and then a lot of the time cut and paste them into the relevant section, so that you can just try different arrangements out. So there's that part. There's also, I've got, for the kind of lighter parts, I think in the intro, I'm just doing some little partial triad versions of those chords, so with a bit of whammy bar on them. So you've got the A minor, G, E minor, F, and G. So we've got that part, and then who can really resist just a chugging rhythm part when you want to kind of beef things up, and maybe, again, this is quite a good way to add a bit of volume and a bit of heaviness, if you like, depth to the chorus part. So we can just do So that's basically part 3 in terms of the rhythm stuff. I'm still kind of working on a solo. There's lots of different approaches, obviously, to doing solos in this. You could follow the chords, or actually, it's nice, you can play the whole thing basically in A minor and maybe go for a kind of a Dorian feel. With a bit of blues stuff, there's also, came up with a nice little phrase that kind of doubled up with a piano, and it actually works across the whole progression, and it's just this little E minor phrase down here. Just 3 notes, but it works on all of the chords, so and it forms quite a nice atmospheric little section where we just have that little phrase and a slight variation of it, which just those few really simple notes pedaling over the whole chord sequence several times. So it's we'll got to be careful of copyright here on YouTube and elsewhere, so I can't really put the whole tune on. We haven't finished it yet, but what we'll probably do is put it on Bandcamp or somewhere, or if I can, if we decide to do a video, I'll pop it on here. I need to check all that out first, don't want to get into trouble. And it's really just to demonstrate an approach to a song. We just happen to be using this one because that's what we're doing at the moment. But if you're writing your own material or you want to do covers, these are possible ideas that you can incorporate. So we have the octaves, and the octave part is kind of following the vocal melody to some extent. Yeah, so hope you find that in some way useful. If you want to, like I say, if you're doing a cover and you want to make it your own, as far as you can. These are some approaches you can take, at least to the kind of rhythm part of it, and maybe thinking of some little melodic motifs that you can add in there. Like I say, this one, we've got a little piano tinkling away, playing that exact part and doubling it when it appears in our arrangement, and we've just got them panned left and right, so you get this really nice little spread of melody coming in just in the background. And we've got our going on behind that, so we can bring these elements in and out and come up with something that's quite a lot different while staying true to the original song. So hope you enjoy that. If you do, let me know, leave me some comments, like the video if you can, and do subscribe if you haven't already. It really does. Any of that stuff really helps the channel immensely, so I'm much appreciated of all of that, and I'll see you in another video. Bye for now.